Hey guys, welcome back to the Bucket Think Tank, and we've got two new future state pools here, and we'll start off with the Immortal Wonder Woman. So, the Immortal Wonder Woman is written by Becky Cloonan, and this takes place many, a long time into the future. Alright? We're talking Earth's last days. If you read Jason Aaron's Thor, you'll see something similar to that with Old Man Thor, or All Father Thor, Old Dusty Thor. Anyway, this story starts off with Wonder Woman wandering through the remains of the Batcave. And it's sort of nice to sort of get into Diana's head as how she views the Batcave. Like, it doesn't look that much different before. Like, it's dark, there's this air of sadness about it. It's a monument to a child trying to pull himself back together. And she's put off coming here, and it shows how long it's been. Even the bats aren't in the Batcave. So it's just a cave, really. It's a cave with a Batman in it, but whatever. And she's greeted by the ghost of Batman, which is really cool, I think. And he talks about how, I knew what I was getting into. I knew how this would end for me. And that's kind of vague. She talks about how, you were always one step ahead, so you're probably prepared for, like, no, I just kind of knew that I'd die in this game. And he never thought of himself as a major player, just sort of like a piece on the board in some ways. And that he did what he did to sort of help the future of Gotham City, like what Gotham City could be. Everyone else saw it as like this horrible city with no good future. Like, no, he saw what it could be. He was willing to fight for it, and he says that goodness is what we do. We fight for that goodness, and he talks about how Diana was the heart of the team. Great moment. Wonder Bat fans are loving this even more so when she took the belt out of the trophy case and wears it herself. And she talks about how something is coming. There's a change. Something horrible is coming to possibly end everything, especially on Earth. And we see how bad this is when we go to Apocalypse. And Bart is like, so, Darkseid, my Lord Darkseid, New Genesis is falling due to this thing coming for us. And he's like, why do I care about what happens to New Genesis? I hate Highfather. The dude's a jerk. All right, what do you think I'm gonna do? They're like, well, we should help because it's important. Like, you say it's important, I don't think it's important. Screw Highfather. And then Orion comes in like, look, Darkseid, Dad, my Lord Dad, yeah, so, it's coming for Apocalypse now. We have to help save Apocalypse. And Darkseid's like, I didn't call it Apocalypse because I thought it would last forever. It was just a euphemism. The apocalypse is coming, apparently. So be it. And he leaves the planet when Barda talks about, well, maybe the heroes of Earth, like, you know what, I'll see what they're doing. Screw it. And he's out like, looks like the anti-life equation. Neat. And then we come back to Earth. Diana has reinstalled Swamp Thing, Alec Holland, on back together, hoping that he can help restore the Earth. And then we see her Amazonian sisters. They're like, we're gonna fight this thing coming. Diana's like, we could just leave. Like, Swamp Thing is gonna try to save the planet, and we're gonna go somewhere else, to not fight this thing. They're like, no, we're Amazons. We fight and die with honor. We'll die on our terms, or we could just not die. So what Diana's trying to say here, like, fine, whatever, we'll do it. Darkseid, meanwhile, while traveling through space, is like, oh, look, Superman's alive. I'll throw hands with him, because why not? And Superman's kind of aged, put on a bit of old man weight, got a nice old man beard. And the crash land on Earth, because of course they do. Diana and Darkseid throw down. And ultimately, this story ends with Diana finding out that Swamp Thing is dying. And, she's crying at the tree of Swamp Thing while Darkseid has given Superman the business, and it's kind of hilarious. Like, it's not supposed to be hilarious, but it kind of is. And ultimately, this was alright. It wasn't great, but it was alright. The second story is about Nubia, and I think I'd care more if I cared about Nubia. But this story starts off with Nubia stops Grail from stealing something from a museum, which is kind of classic. Something in a museum, bad guy steals it. And we don't know what we're going to do with Grail anyway, so screw it, let's go. Nubia and Grail fight. as Nubia declares herself like, I am Wonder Woman. I'm like, sure, whatever. And the artifact, she touches it and she gets images of a battle she doesn't remember being in, and she sees her Aunt Nancy. So realizes, okay, I got to figure out what this is about. Grail leaves because apparently that artifact is protecting her. Like, oh, okay, so I can't get this artifact now, so I'll come back later. Screw it. So Nubia goes to visit her aunt in Hotlanta, Atlanta, because of course. And she owns a nightclub guarded by a minotaur. Why not? I like that. And Aunt Nancy says, okay, so I can tell you about that, but you gotta do me a favor first, alright? So you gotta agree to do me a favor. Someday, and that day may never come, I'm gonna ask you to do a service. Alright? And I'll expect the service to be done. And Nubia agrees, like, okay, so a long, long, long time ago, alright? We're talking early days, cue the opening to Hercules. And, the gods were fighting, warring, plotting. No one could trust anybody. Zeus couldn't keep it in his pants. Everyone blamed Hades for everything now because that was the thing, even though Hades was the most chill of the gods. But we don't acknowledge that. And Ares was just the biggest joke ever. Anyway, my Amazonian sisters and I figured we got to try to stop this. And we got to try to, free some people, free our comrades. So they developed a magical item that was supposed to just unlock one or two things. Turns out it unlocked everything: seals, portals, magical artifacts, teleports to other dimensions. It's really good stuff. And it also possibly unlocked ancient evils that should never be awakened again. But we didn't plan that. We just rolled really high. And they decide, okay, so I guess we gotta destroy it or undo it. Well, we couldn't undo it, so we broke it in different pieces and we hid them about. I'd heard rumors they were being stolen, but rumors, gossip, doesn't mean any of it's true. So before Nubia can ask more, she's then pulled away magically, and we're all like, oh, alright. And Nance just goes, well, hell, and just goes back to drinking. Again, this story isn't bad, but I haven't been endeared to Nubia as a character. Yara Flores, despite being Brazilian, also endeared me to her, not just because she's Brazilian, but because she was fun, she was dynamic. All I'm seeing from Nubia is, I'm Wonder Woman, I'm a fix some stuff. Okay, that's fine, but overall, I'm willing to give it another shot. And then we have Superman Worlds at War. Now, Superman Worlds at War is written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, and Philip Kennedy Johnson is, I definitely know, the future writer for Superman when we get to Infinite Frontier and other stuff. So I was excited to see exactly where he was going. So his story, or at least this future state story, appears in the sort of continuity that Brian Michael Bendis created, which is Superman has revealed himself to be Clark Kent and is somehow still allowed to write stories about himself, which is a horrible conflict of interest. It is not. It is sort of like the exact opposite of journalistic integrity. Anyway, in this future moment, Superman is sort of gone. He's gone off somewhere. Maybe he decided to retire, write that novel. Who knows? On Earth, we see this young lady who's come to Smallville to sort of join this friend circle about people who knew and were saved by Superman. And we get a state of exactly where Smallville's at right now. It turns out they've got Clark Kent's homework, his tests, and what can we infer from how the fact that he selected answer A from answer C? And instead of it being, well, he didn't study for that test, it's like, no, it has to mean something more about the intellect of Clark Kent, about who he is. It's a biblical moment. Really, really great. Some snake oil salesman mess. And even more so with people selling fake jewelry and whatnot. And so she passes all that. I don't think we got her name. It didn't matter. So we get to this sort of circle at the end, and everyone tells a story about, hey, I was in Jerusalem, and something was fired and detonated, and he saved me. Another guy's like, hey, I had family in Metropolis. It turns out John Kent has shrunk Metropolis into a bottle city because he's stupid. So he's like, so, ignoring this new one, the old one saved me from Magog, M-A-G-O-G. I don't know how to pronounce his name. And what's cool about that is, even though Superman fought Magog, Gogum, while still holding him. He recounts that, hey, I didn't notice the fight. He was also whispering to me like, it's gonna be all right. I got you. And that was great. And then there was questions where Superman has gone. Some had said, like, he's done with Earth. He's going on to the next project. Why should we trust every other Kryptonian? They're probably evil ones out there. Maybe he's gone to stop them. And some said, well, no, what happened is he's transcended consciousness and become pure energy and is going through Earth and the galaxy, fixing things wherever it goes. I'm like, okay. The girl comes up and says, you are all stupid. All right? That is not what Superman is. Superman is the best of us. That's what he's always been. And he's not just his superpowers. He's not just what he can lift, what he can punch. And I'm thinking, yes, Queen. And I don't often do yes, Queen, because I think it's pretentious and annoying, but this was the moment. She talks about how, everyone around here is like selling away fake jewelry that's saying it's from Krypton and it's kryptonite, and we're reading his homework like it's gospel. It's not that. And the question was, well, how did Superman save you? Like, Superman didn't save me. Clark Kent didn't. She walked out like a boss. Loved it. Loved it. Loved some Superman respect. And then we cut to, I think, where everyone's question is, well, where's Superman? Superman is on some planet in a gladiatorial arena fighting for his life. And that's how the comic ends. We don't know. Philip Kennedy Johnson, this was kind of brilliant in my mind. It was a nice tribute to Superman, sort of like, well, I don't really quite know what to compare it to. It reminds me of something from Action Comics 1000. That's the best thing about it. And what's cool about that is that's just a great Superman respect thread. And I love it. I love it. I feel he gets a bit cheated sometimes. And Bendis certainly didn't help, which is another reason why I felt inclined to do the Action Comics Superman Rebirth comic run, which I am working on, the Superman chapter. Anyway, this was actually really good. I'm looking forward to seeing what Philip Kennedy Johnson can do here. I almost want to track down Last God instead of waiting for the trade. Not going to do it, especially since the Future State is kind of pricey. No. Anyway, with that in mind, this brings the video to close here. If you're new to the Bucket Think Tank, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, check out some other videos, and I'll catch you all later. This is the Bucket Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching, and as always, may your fandom serve you well.